2026 is going to be the year that I'm doing less with less. And to be honest, I'm not happy to say that, but I do feel a little relieved just saying it out loud. If you're a regular, we've probably talked about this in the Discord to some extent. But if you are new here, what a weird video to find the channel on. Maybe you're a regular who's not in the Discord and you haven't talked about this with me yet. But the idea here is that, I'm just burnt out, to be completely honest with you. Just really burnt out. And I had these grand ambitions for a project. Let me pull it up. Yeah, so 3 months ago, I posted this on YouTube, because you can apparently do posts on YouTube, which is great. And the goal here was essentially to deep dive into WASM during the first quarter of the year. And just to clarify, the first quarter is basically over. And then the grand plan was to move on to this database stuff. And to be honest, most of this WASM stuff was for work. I had this opportunity to work on some really awesome stuff with WebAssembly, and I really wanted to entrench myself in it so I could be an expert for what we're doing at work. We've pivoted a little bit, and I'm working on something completely different now. So the appeal of this, while still here, is a little less practical right away. And I just don't have the energy, to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure if I'm just old or if the changes in the industry are wearing me down, or if constantly learning and working for 16 years has caught up to me. But I'm at the point now where I feel like I just need a break. Yeah, you may have noticed if you, I can't imagine anyone very closely follows my release schedule for YouTube, but I have for the longest time tried to put out at least a video a week. You've probably noticed over the past couple weeks or month and a half that's not really been the case. And I've kind of done some live streams because they just feel a little more relaxed. And I might still do that. I don't entirely know. But I guess what I want to say to you, if you are invested in this channel and the content that I put out and learning from me and those type of things, it's still going to happen. I enjoy this too much to stop. But I do think I want to be a little bit more mindful about how I'm spending my time, because between work, so in case anyone doesn't know, I work a standard conventional 9-ish to 5-ish job in the U.S. and am married. I've got 2 dogs, plenty of friends that I spend time with pretty regularly as well. Recently got into a new card game, enjoying that quite a bit too. Everything I've mentioned is not the stuff that you see. So I run the Code with Cypher Discord server, which has been fantastic. I've had, thankfully, due to this channel and growing this channel, which thank you for subscribing if you are a subscriber, I've been able to talk to some really interesting people and I think forge pretty decent relationships with some people over Discord as well. And I'd love to meet them in person if that opportunity ever presents itself. But the point being that I do a lot of things outside of what this channel has. So if the only lens into my life is this channel, there's some people like the Primogen who stream and do content creation full time. And don't get me wrong, he's gotten into other stuff as well, which, to each their own. But that's his full-time job. I would love to do that one day, but I don't think we're there. Mentioning the family and dogs, one of my dogs has quite a few medical needs. So the idea of me, not that I plan to do this if anyone from work is watching, but the idea of me quitting my job and doing this full time, it's just not feasible. I would not be able to afford my dog's medications and things of that nature for too long. So yeah, I'm rambling, giving you more insight into my life than most you care about. So why am I making this video? I wanted to talk about that, but I also wanted to talk about, 2, 3, 4 things. I'm not sure how many yet. I probably should have written an outline or something. I wanted to talk about the fact that we had this plan, and I committed to this with you all, and 32 people seem to like the idea. I don't know how much of this is true. I still have my database book. I still am going to read through that. I will probably do some of this stuff on channel, but maybe not all of it. I don't know. We'll find out. Outside of that, I am working on a project that historically, people haven't cared about me doing Flutter stuff, but I'm working on a Flutter project. So I got so freaking frustrated with mobile several years ago, and specifically the App Store process. But there has been an app for the longest time that I have wanted to build. And again, not to keep harping on the Discord server, but if you were in the Discord server, you probably saw me talking about my thoughts on AI tooling and where I feel like I would love to see the future get to, which is private personal models running on things that, your own hardware. So we're not throwing everything at, major companies like Anthropic or OpenAI or anything of that nature. I'd love to see us get to that point, but I don't know if we're there, right? In fact, I would argue that we're probably not there. That's my pipe dream future, but I did get a glimpse of that future with something that I've been wanting to build for the longest time. So I started working on this. It really stems from this. So Gemma 4 was announced pretty recently, a couple days ago. This was published 5 days ago. I think Gemma 4 was announced 5 or 6 days ago. So Gemma 4 is a lightweight model that you can run directly on IoT hardware, mobile phones, laptops, etc. It's somewhat big. It can be big. You have some flexibility in the parameters that are used in building the model. But here's the point. I have, for the longest time, I have a very strong desire to be a good friend. I try really hard to be a good friend. I also juggle so many things in my head at the same time. Maybe medication would help, but I'm not at that point yet. And I'm trying to compartmentalize things in ways that make sense for me. I write a fair amount in my really nice notebook that I've got here. I wish I remembered the brand. I would shout it out. But yeah, it's a nice notebook. And I write a lot to help me compartmentalize and just think through things and really organize my thoughts. The whole reason I'm mentioning this is if I can offload some of this to my technology, that's what I want technology to do for me. So I have this idea for an app that is an augmentation. I would love for it to be able to replace the default contacts app on mobile devices, but I don't know how possible that is at this point. So it's an augmentation to your contacts app. It is private yet invasive. So if I can end up building it the way I want it to. So let me clarify what that means. So by private, I mean that everything stays on your device unless you want to ship it elsewhere. And the reason I give you that caveat is because I am testing the Gemma 4 model, but I don't know how good it is, at least yet. It seems like it's going to work fairly well for what I'm wanting it to do. But if you want to and you don't want to run this on your device, or maybe you have an older phone and you can't run a model on your device, I want to give you the option to, put in an Anthropic API key or an OpenAPI API key, and you can send all the LLM processing stuff off to them if you would prefer. But here's the idea. You have a contacts app on your phone. Some people use it. Some people put basic information like phone numbers and names in their contacts app. You can put so much more in your contacts app, but it doesn't do anything for you just being there. So the idea here is that I want to build this app. I'm working on building this app. We can talk through some of the code at the moment. And you know what? I could honestly just show you as well on my phone because I've got to build on my phone. But the idea here is that this app is going to augment the contacts list, and it will be invasive in the sense that it can read data from your contacts and push data back to your contacts. It will compile its own database of information that you put into the app. Sorry, trying to get the latest build on TestFlight for my phone so I can actually show it to you. But yeah, it will essentially be kind of invasive, and you can record things like birthdays for someone or important dates, and you can push those to your calendar and get reminders. So you can, the idea here is essentially to build a relationship operating system for your mobile device. I want it to be private. The conversations we have with our friends are private conversations. I'm not saying that, these aren't things that you wouldn't say publicly, but the fact of the matter is these are intended to be one-to-one or group message conversations with a select group of people. I want you to have that level of privacy because I want that level of privacy. So it's private, it's invasive in the sense that it gets into your calendar. I say gets into it. Sounds like it's like scouring for data. I can't stress enough. I have no analytics engine built into this. I do not plan to put one in. I do not plan to put in crash reporting, anything of that nature. The debug builds will have crash reporting, but I will strip all of that out before the production builds. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what conversations you have. None of that comes over to my server. If it goes to a server, it is because you choose to use Anthropic or OpenAI as your model provider. Let's see. I'm ranting about this project at this point. That's actually not the point of this video, but I'm very excited about this. This is something I've wanted for a really long time, and I want to be able to make it easier to engage with my friends regularly. So even if it's just a "Hey Jake, I'm thinking about you" type message, help me make something more substantial about that. If the relationship operating system knows that Jake started a new job 3 weeks ago and I'm thinking about Jake, maybe it makes sense that the relationship operating system would suggest something like, "Hey Jake, I was just thinking about you. How's the new job going?" Something to make these things more meaningful. And this sounds weird because the more I say this and the more it sounds like I need tools to help me with this, it does make me feel like I'm a bad friend. But I'm putting forth the effort. I just need assistive tooling to help me. And I don't know. I'm sure someone will come in the comments and be like, "That's weird." I think it's a great idea, and I plan to spend a significant amount of time building it. But I mention this because this channel, right? I've done Flutter stuff in the past. Most people don't seem to care. If you do want to see me build this or learn more about what I'm building, let me know. I will probably talk about some of it a little bit, mostly because I think it's really cool. But I also don't want to bombard you all with Flutter stuff when I know a lot of you are here for Zig or Odin or lower level systems programming type stuff as well. So yeah, let's talk about that too, because that's kind of an elephant in the room. Am I just working on this thing? No. I'm trying really hard to do less with less, but I am in MMORPGs, which are my favorite types of games. I am what you would consider to be an alt-aholic, ALT aholic, which is someone who makes many, many characters because they get very bored playing the same character over and over again. I'm the same way with projects. I will have multiple things in the oven at one point in time, but I took a look at what I had that I was working on right now, not right now, but the projects I have in flight at the moment that weren't in a good enough spot where I could kind of leave them and let them do their thing or put them in maintenance mode or anything of that nature. And it was about 21 to 22 projects, depending on how you classify one of them. And it's just too much, man. It's too much. So yeah, I don't know. I mentioned maybe it's old age. I'm 30. What year is it? 2026. I'll be 33 in a couple of days. I know people in the comments are going to say, "Well, you don't look a day over 18." Stop. I'm flattered, but it's yeah. I'm old. At least I feel old. And no offense, I mean not to offend anyone older than me, but or of the same age, I guess. But I feel old. And maybe it's not that. Maybe it's changes in the industry and other things that are catching up to me. But anyways, so the other thing is trials of Rentri. So, whoops. Maybe I should actually go to the right tab. So I talked about this a little bit. This is a game that I've been working on for a little bit. It's in Odin. It uses LDTK. If you saw my latest video, you would have a fairly good understanding of how I use Odin and LDTK together. I'm going to keep building this. This is probably one of the biggest, most ambitious projects that I've ever wanted to build, and I'm going to keep figuring it out. I'll post updates and share things that I think are cool. But to be honest, I'm going into this really blind, and a lot of my videos, I go into things, with a pretty good idea of how I want to solve them. And the reason I do that is because I feel like it's a better use of your time for me to say, "Here's what I think I'm going to do. Let's go implement it." And with this, I don't know. I've been spinning wheels on all sorts of different things for weeks now. Things are coming together and it's making progress. And I'm honestly at the point where I think a good chunk of the engine is done. And now I just need to actually build out the content, the spirits that you can bind to totems, the characters, the dialogue, all of that fun stuff. I have one last project that I'm hoping to keep around for now. And again, I'll still do stuff in the space of, well, I don't know, maybe 2 projects, not one. Let's close this. So the other one is called Sprutia. I've talked about this a little bit. I don't know if I've actually ever shown it. This is essentially the goal. So this is super early stage. If you go to this website, view all of the marketing content as filler content and template content at the moment. Some of it's pretty true. Like, this is a feature that we offer. This is a feature. This is a feature. I say we. I'm just building this by myself. I am certain that some of the best decisions in my careers were taking charge of my one-on-one meetings and making them work for me. I think not enough people do that. From the times that I've managed individuals, a lot of people come to one-on-ones and they just give me a status update that I could get from Jira or Linear. And it's not a good use of time, not a good use of their time, and not a good use of my time. So, yeah, I want to help make one-on-ones meaningful meetings for people. But to do that, we have to talk about the bigger picture, which is goals and OKRs. This is also a problem that I often see, which is leadership sets an OKR, and then someone 4 levels down below the CEO doesn't know how to roll up their work to that OKR. So tools to help with that. Individual development plans. This kind of circles back to one-on-one meetings, career growth, and that type of stuff. Peer review and feedbacks. One of the things I've been thinking about is helping put together promotion packets as well on behalf of the individual. Action item tracking, team analytics, and insights. So more so on the enterprise side for HR departments that really want to make sure one-on-ones are happening, things of that nature. So this is something I've been building. I would love to show you more about it. I just wiped the staging database the other day, and I can't sign in. So yeah, so there's not much to show at this point because I probably should have reseeded everything for a demo. But I'm working on building this. It's a Sveltekit app. I don't think anyone particularly is interested in my subscriber base in Sveltekit stuff. So I don't know if I'll show much about this. But yeah, so you can click through it if you're interested. I think this is really important. I do think that as AI becomes more and more prevalent, I think we need to focus more on the human side of business and making sure that humans stay relevant and connected and focus on growing our human talent as well. I do the word diversity is very interesting to me because it has many meanings, including diversity of thought, which is one that often is not the first thing that people think about, but at least in a business perspective. But I also worry that from what I've seen, certain companies seem to be getting a lack of diversity from human thought at this point, where AI agents are doing a lot of their work, and it seems like a lot of humans are just kind of managing those agents. And that makes me really concerned, to be honest. So, yeah, I would like to see us find a healthier relationship with those tools, AI agents in particular. And to do so, I think maybe something like this could be helpful as well. And then the last thing is the Dust Media Server. So if everyone was worried about me not doing Zig stuff, which tends to come up every now and again, someone asks if I'm done doing Zig stuff. This is written in Dust. I love this project. I use this project. It runs on a little B-Link Mini right over here in the corner of my office. The media server and the web app and all of that stuff. There's information on it here. It's completely open source. It's been a blast to build. It's written in Zig. It's blazingly fast. All sorts of the fun stuff that you would like to know about. There's a link to the GitHub. You can contribute here. You're more than welcome to. We have some issues if you'd like to find something to work on. But yeah, so don't look too heavily into this. It's mostly Zig. The server is mostly Zig. The front end is 0% Zig. The front end happens to be a lot more code than the back end at this point, so that's where you see JavaScript and TypeScript and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, so although why? I don't know why it says 67% JavaScript when there's 2 JavaScript files. One is 7 lines and the other is the static hello world script that probably needs to be removed. Anyways, this is written in Zig. I plan to continue to build this. You'll notice that it's been a couple months since I've had any commits here. Why have I been slowing down on this? Might be a good question. To be completely honest, I have been waiting so long and so hard for Zig 0.16.0, and we're so close. We are so close. Yeah, anyways. The plan is migrate that to 0.16 and then really lock in on doing some more feature development for this once O16 hits. I'll also probably do an O16 release video because I'm quite excited for that. So yeah, this is the change of pace for me and my channel. Again, why am I telling you this? Why do you care? A lot of this is very different than the type of stuff that I've normally been doing on my channel, and I don't know if you all want me to post content about it, to be honest. So I'm kind of looking for some feedback. If any of this stuff sounds like stuff you'd be interested in, it would help me tremendously if you let me know in the comments or join the Discord and let me know. I can't stress enough, I'd love it if you join the Discord and we could chat and I could learn from you and we could help each other and all sorts of fun stuff. There will be a link to that Discord in the server. I think that's it. So, yeah, I feel good saying that I'm going to do less with less. Doesn't make me happy. I want to do so much, but it does feel good to just say that and kind of put together a plan on the things that I'm honing in on and I'm working on. And yeah, I think that's it. So weird video, very different. Not coding, not solving weird specific coding issues. So I don't know if people care too much about that, but or about this video, but there it is. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, and have a great day.